Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. It's for Saturday, the 24th of August 2024. Right, I'm just going to do a one take update of and probably final update of where we are with the main loom wiring, as I think we're just about there. The only major thing left that we need to do now is to wire in the tri-spark electronic ignition, but I'll come on to that in a second. That it is pretty straightforward, but just to give you an update on the loom then. So the headlight end is all done, and the three grommets of the back are in. You can't see it very well here, but I think those are the ones there they are. I have put in the extension cables out to the ignition switch, and I did change out the spades that were on there for bullets, because I haven't got any male spade end connectors, but that's worked out okay. And as you can see, I've done a bit of tidying up of the wiring here to separate out the both sides and give us a nice space in the middle for the reflector and the bulb holder to fit in. And I've done a test fit, and it fits okay. So we can put that back on for now just to protect it, but I'm sure we'll be back in there when we put a battery on and test it. We've got the clock illumination bulbs here. I've got to get one of those bulbs, one of them blown, and these are the sort of later pushing type rather than the bayonet type. So we've just got one bulb to 5, and they'll just pop in there. These are the extended, oh, because these, excuse me, you can tell it's live. These are the extended ignition wires. And the reason there's 3 is because one is the live feed to the light switch up the top here, as well as the live feed to the ignition, which is correct. So one live, one light, one ignition. So that's about right. Just give me a sec while I just clean this lens a little bit. That's a bit better. So that's that done. Now, there's 2 leads hanging down here. One is the new lead for the oil pressure warning light switch, which is here. But I've got a new boot on order to go over this and that, to cover that up, so that's why that's not connected. And then we've got another cable coming out of the engine here, which is for, well, it was the points, but will be the return lead from the tri-spark unit that's going to go in here. So that explains that. And here's where it'll connect to on the main loom. So normally the cable up from the points here would go into to those 2 there. So we've got a yellow and black and a white and black, which is correct. Horns plumbed in, and then as we work our way backwards, so everything's plumbed in here, but got a few things to say. So firstly, with respect to the tri-spark, then we are going to need to change out these coils. These are 12-volt coils, they're the original ones. But the tri-spark ignition is I can't remember the term now. But basically, it's a lost spark system. So there are 2 6-volt coils in series, and they both generate sparks at the same time. And so they're fed by only one of the wires normally that come up from the points. In addition to that, with the tri-spark electronic system, we won't need the condensers. So in one sense, me messing about with extending wires here wasn't really required because all I was doing was extending the wire to the condenser. I hadn't got my brain in gear because I was extending the two wires thinking the original coils were in series, which they're not. However, extending one of them is correct for the tri-spark system because we are going to need to connect the two tri-spark coils together with one of these sets of wires. So all is not lost, but basically we can take off the connection to, if I can do it, each of the condensers. God, bloody hell, there's one. And the other one is, where's that one there? Which was a bit tight. Excuse me a minute. I wasn't expecting to do this, but we'll get it off while we're here. There we go. That's it. And we'll take one side off as well, because that's going to eventually end up going to earth, believe it or not. But anyway, all the requisite wiring is there. It'll just be wired up differently for the tri-spark coil. So the tri-spark coils, 6 volt, are on order, and we're actually using the tri-spark ones themselves, the branded ones from them. We've got in here 2 wires for the battery. That's fine. These 2 that left over are for the flash unit, which is the other side of that coil, so getting that coil out will be handy for getting that sorted. However, the flash unit that was on it is rattling around, so I'm not using it. We'll order a new one and put that on. And then at the rear end here, we've got everything buttoned up, but I've got grommets on order for all the holes. So we'll need to undo this just to insert the grommets, but also underneath with the tabs as well. As somebody suggested, it might be worthwhile just putting some additional insulation around the wires where they're in the tabs, so that the vibration doesn't actually cause the insulation to rub through. And then the final thing at this end is that I did have to extend the wire down to the rear brake light switch. There is the original termination there, so I've taken the spades off again, replaced with bullets. Just put an extension here so we can route it properly when the time comes, and this can then plug into the back of the switch. There just wasn't enough room on the wiring, no matter how I there it is there, no matter how I routed it, it was a couple of inches short all the way. So in the end we had to extend it. So, you know, there's a few things short all over the place on this loom, which is a bit frustrating really. So there we are. I think that's it. So we're going to leave the wiring for now and just come back when we've got the flash unit and the tri-spark coils, because once the tri-spark coils are here, then we'll do the we'll install that electronic ignition unit, which looks quite straightforward from the instructions, to be honest. And we'll do just one more video on that when the time is right. But the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to, in the next video, come on to the brakes. So this silencer here, as Rick Constant has suggested, this silencer here isn't mounted up yet, just so we can take it off, and we've got access then to everything to bleed the rear brake unit in stages. So firstly we can go down to the slave cylinder, and then we can go across to this unit in here. Then we can button that up and go into the caliper to bleed it. So we'll do that, and at the front end we've got all the pipes now we can put in down from the top here. So it's 3 or 4 pipes involved, 2 flexi pipes I think, and a couple of metal ones. And so we'll focus on getting the brakes, if you like, up and running. So that's it for now. Give me a second, because what I'm going to do is show you, come back and just show you one little clip of the headlight in place, because it just improves the looks no end. There you go, headlight lens in. I might bring you back a little bit later on. Let me tidy all this mess up. Now we're just about there, and we'll get a cleaner look of how the bike looks. There you go, bit tidier around her now. So yeah, front end's looking a lot smarter and tidier now that headlamp's together. Excuse that, it needs tying up. The speedo cable really is a little too long, probably 3 inches too long. So I'm tempted to replace that. On this side, obviously we'll do a separate one on control cables yet, so we haven't done the throttle choke, clutch, all needs doing. And we need the rubbers doing as well, which will tidy stuff up. That needs replacing, but we've got a set of rubbers, that's fine. But yeah, back end looking quite tidy. And then, as I say, these are going to be our spares, and we'll sort this out when we get the Tri-Spark coils in, which are on order from Shropshire. Classic Motorcycles. A lot of places haven't got them in stock, even though they list them. Right, I'll stop rambling. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Thanks for your interest, comments and any subscriptions. And I'll see you all again soon in a couple of days, as I say, when we'll go on to finishing and bleeding the front and rear brake. Cheers, everyone. Bye.